Sneaky little Senator Adam Schiff from California just released a new video on YouTube. He's trying to cast himself as an individual that's defending your American privacy, and he's urgently warning, I would say fearmongering, that superstar President Donald Trump's administration is going to potentially unleash a massive data breach affecting millions of taxpayers. What you're about to hear is actually a far cry, and he makes a video specifically saying, basically, red alert, I'm talking to the illegal aliens right now. Look at me, you need to be worried. He's not even talking to Americans at this point, I'm convinced.
You know how you get notice when someone has hacked your data as a part of a breach of some private company? Well, consider this your warning that your data may have been breached. In this case, the culprit is Donald Trump. So what is this all about? Well, the Department of Homeland Security is seeking to get access to millions and millions and millions of records of Americans from the IRS.
Okay, so you saw what he did right there. He's trying to level it up, say millions and millions and millions of Americans, but in reality, it's only 7 million records that they're going after. So 7 million. Okay, we know that there's more Americans than that. And last time I checked, there was a little less than 20 million undocumented immigrants in America, and those are the ones that are accounted for, so keep in mind.
They are building a computer system in which the Department of Homeland Security can, through an automated process, get access to taxpayer records. Now, the Department of Homeland Security says, well, we want to do this because we want to try to find undocumented immigrants. Well, there are several problems with this. The first is they're gaining access to millions of records, people who are documented and citizens and people who are undocumented. So this is not going to discriminate about whose taxpayer information is going to be floating to this other agency. But more than that, we're supposed to be encouraging people who are in this country but who are undocumented to pay their taxes. And we've promised them, well, we're not going to penalize you for doing what we want you to do, and that is abide by the law and pay taxes. So now we're going to renege on that. We're going to use people's good faith payment of taxes to go after them. How does that make any sense? What's more, the Trump administration, of course, said that their immigration policy was going to be focused after going after violent criminals.
Just a little side note real quick. Does anyone remember the days where it was definitely before the Biden administration where ICE would actually kind of go do their jobs and get individuals, and they didn't have to be violent criminals, and they were still in the country in here illegally? Yeah, they were working jobs, whatever, but they were here illegally. And that's what ICE used to do, is they used to go and get these people because they were here illegally. But see, I don't think Adam Schiff and the Democrats understand that, because they're trying to now rewrite history. Does anyone else see that? Am I the only one that's just crazy that now you could only get illegal immigrants if they're violent criminals?
And here's the added risk to you, and that is time after time after time we have seen, notwithstanding even the best efforts, government databases hacked by foreign adversaries, particularly by China, but also by other foreign nations and private hacking groups and bad actors. So there have been publicly acknowledged breaches of data at the State Department and the Office of Personnel Management. Some of them have been in the scope of millions of personnel records, for example, by hostile governments. If we aggregate all this data, if we put it all in one place, then it is all subject to one spectacular hack.
So my favorite thing about Democrats is when they kind of make a point, but when it happened under Democratic leadership, they never, ever will say that it happened under a certain individual that was the leader of the Democrat Party.
The Obama administration officials are deflecting blame for a massive breach of federal government computers.
It's being called the worst hack of the U.S. government in history. Hackers looted federal government personnel records affecting as many as 32 million current and former employees. After a grilling this week on Capitol Hill of officials from the Office of Personnel Management, one lawmaker called the lack of cybersecurity at OPM jaw-dropping.
1963, I wasn't even born yet. And that's the system that we're operating on in this day and age when technology is changing moment by moment, minute by minute.
The hack has been a disaster for American counterintelligence. When the White House admitted that OPM had been hacked in early June, It said that Chinese hackers had stolen the personal information of up to 4 million current and former federal employees. We now know the damage is far greater. Hackers made off with millions of security clearance background check files, so-called adjudication information, sensitive facts collected by U.S. investigators about government employees and contractors, deeply personal information such as marital problems, drug and alcohol or gambling problems, even information about a person's sex life. That means China or another foreign entity now has the powers to find U.S. officials who have access to classified documents and blackmail them. A source told the Daily Beast website this is worse than the leaks by Edward Snowden.
Yeah, so the same day, this is what really bothers me the most. There's a Senate Judiciary hearing. It's on drones, protection for Americans. This is a big deal. We won't get too much into it, but all you need to know is it's all about protecting Americans. But the first half of Senator Adam Schiff's questioning is he actually went after DHS and the way they were using drones in Los Angeles to monitor the protesting. And then DHS posted videos online of the chaos and mayhem that was happening that, oh, that's not good because we're trying to protect their free speech. I mean, I'm convinced that he cares more about criminals than anything.
But Mr. Willoughby, I want to ask you about a different kind of concern, and that is we saw drones being used by DHS over Los Angeles during protests. And my understanding is that DHS policy requires that there be privacy protections when drones are used and may capture people engaged in First Amendment protected activity, among other things. And that drone footage is not allowed to be released without a law enforcement purpose or some other legitimate, analyzed and approved function. Nonetheless, drone footage that was captured over Los Angeles was published by the agency.
Boo-hoo, Adam Schiff. It was published. Oh, wow. No, it's just crazy because chances are there were a lot of illegals out there in the protesting, and I'm pretty sure DHS got a good amount of facial recognition out of it. If you're out there being a rioter, a looter, an anarchist, well, you kind of knew that there was going to be cameras on you. You're in the public view. It is what it is. But before we end this, I just want you to hear this from Adam Schiff.
So when you think of government hacks and breaches, you might be thinking of a scene like this.
FBI Director James Comey called the stolen data a treasure trove of sensitive information that includes social security numbers, addresses, fingerprints, as well as health and financial histories, making it perhaps the most dangerous cyber intrusion in history.